Meanwhile, play action. Roll out on third down. The throw is complete. Moss inside the 20. Blue Hawks over to retake the lead at halftime. Papper to his right. Touchdown, Exeter. They keep it in the quarterback's hands, and what a run here. This is Capetta still on his feet inside the 30. That's a good snap. A good kick. It's up and good. What a great kick. Short the first down marker. Second down and less than a yard. Back to the inside. DeGulia trying to hit the gas. One man to beat at the 10. Touchdown, Timberlake. And McGinley's got a hold. Got a first down and then some. He's going to break it loose. He's going to take the snap. They're going to hand in the middle. DeGulia. Touchdown, Timberlake. On first down, the snap. Handoff left side. Moss inside the 5. Going to be tackled. The ball is, I think, loose. No, now the official going to pick it up. Clock still running, and now time has expired. And are now a scary 5-0 following a 46-0 victory on the road here at Plymouth. Well, there you have it. Those were the sights and sounds over the weekend here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, as we brought you 2 Game of the Weeks. One a thriller, one a blowout. As we know, that's how it goes sometimes. Welcome inside the Beals Insurance Studios here in Bedford. Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you. It's FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. We're live, of course, every Thursday night during football season. 6 o'clock Eastern. Big show on the way yet again as we prepare for the upcoming week number 6, statewide. Jay Pinzano is our first guest in about 10 minutes or so. Jay, of course, from the Seacoast Media Group. He's got his pulse or finger on the pulse of the Seacoast, going to get us caught up with what's going on there in Division I. Then we begin to preview the next 2 broadcasts that we do. Of course, the big number 1 versus number 2 showdown tomorrow night between defending champion Londonderry and the challenger Bishop Girton. We welcome in both Lancers and Cardinals head coaches. Jimmy Lauzon at 6:30, John Triciani Jr. at 6:45. Speaking of 6:45, we get cooking tomorrow night with our pregame coverage in advance of the 7 o'clock kick between Londonderry and Bishop Girton. Hour number 2 tonight, Rob Sturgis got Memorial playing hard, got them their first win over the weekend, an upset that created some buzz, handing Spalding their first loss. Coach Sturgis joins us for the first time this season. And then we round out the show with the return of Jack Byrne. Wyndham, another win, another big win, 52-0 over Alvern. And the Jags looking pretty formidable at 3-2 in Division I. Steve, how we doing?
Obviously, Plymouth is still working on their quarterback situation. Certainly respect that. They're in a building point, but we saw 3 fantastic quarterbacks this week that are mature. I'll tell you, I thought Capetta, Pafford, and Jane were absolutely fantastic. Jane's mechanics are just incredible. I mean, the way he sets in the pocket, the way he fires a ball, and the strikes that he threw to his receivers. I heard he was good. I heard look out for this guy, but wow, I thought Pafford and I thought Capetta was just fantastic as well. We can go on down the list. I think this is, in some respects, last year as far as quarterbacks is concerned, as far as a great degree, it was Bedford and Joe Michael. This year, there's just quarterbacks up and down. I'd like to research what's going on because these guys are good. I don't know if it's camps. We need to probably look into that, but I'll tell you that the training, Trevor Knight could very well be that because Trevor was a fantastic quarterback himself, and he just has the heart for teaching. But that's what really struck me this week, and boy, we saw a good one on Friday night.
Yeah, we did. You bring it up. Exeter and Timberlane out there in Plastow, really back and forth, punch for punch. It was a physical game as we expected. And, of course, it came down to the wire, came down to a final play that never happened. Exeter ran out of time trying to snap the ball inside the 5-yard line, couldn't get it off. Timberlane escapes with a 27-23 victory, handing Exeter their first loss. Of course, that game in its entirety is up on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. But we found out, Steve, for sure, a little bit more about those two teams. We knew they were good. We knew that they were potentially Division I championship contenders. And as it played out, they ended up being two of the harder-hitting teams that we had seen all season.
Yeah, I mean, let's start at the top with the 2 head coaches. Everybody knows who Bill Ball is. He's a legend in the state of New Hampshire. He knows exactly what he wants to do every single time he calls in a play, listens to his assistant coaches. But we've got an emerging, I call him the ship captain, but we've got an emerging head coach here from Coach Fitzgerald from Timberlane that I thought he managed that game magnificently. Quite frankly, one of the things I've always admired about Coach Ball is his relationship with his quarterbacks, and it's always been stellar. They come off the field, well, that's what Capetta does as well. And I know that's probably not going to happen in college, but I have to be honest with you, I think at the high school level, it puts them on a fast track to learning and builds a good rapport between Coach Fitzgerald and the Capetta combination. Really impressed me, as well as the Timberlane Owls. They are for real.
As formidable as anybody so far. Timberlane
playing some great ball.
Still in the top 5 and moving up a spot. We'll get to that right now as we take a look at the week number 6 Union Leader Power Poll. Londonderry and BG at 1 and 2, and we can't wait for tomorrow night. Lancers a 48-6 win in Manchester over Central to still be unbeaten, stay unbeaten against in-state competition. Their lone loss, of course, came out of state against Bishop Hendricken back in week 2. Bishop Girton, meanwhile, undefeated, period. A 31-8 win on the beach at Winnicunnet. They're now a perfect 5-0. And again, Coaches Lauzon and Triciani join us at 6:30 and 6:45, respectively. Number 3 in the poll, Nashua North. Titans still unbeaten and still putting up some gaudy numbers. 64-14 over Goffstown. They'll take on Alvern in Hudson over the weekend. Timberlane, as we talked about, still the one blemish, a 3-point loss back in week 2 against Bishop Girton, but an impressive 27-23 win on their home field over Exeter. Blue Hawks lose for the first time. They slip one spot. They dropped from 4 to 5 in the power poll. Bedford continues to roll.
Yep.
4 in a row now since their opening night loss at Nashua North. The latest a 48-0 beatdown over South. That was at Bulldog Stadium. And, of course, they've got a test this weekend at Exeter tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Then, no real change. Pinkerton at 7, Concord at 8. Souhegan, who we saw on Saturday at 9, they were 46-0 winners over Plymouth. They'll take on Hanover in Amherst on Friday. And then, of course, Wyndham, deservedly so, gets a spot, I think, in the top 10 and are now 3-2 following a 52-0 win, again, over the Alvern Broncos. So there again is our top 10. Londonderry, BG, North, Timberlane, Exeter, Bishop Girton, Pinkerton, Concord, Souhegan, and Wyndham. Any major gripe there? Or
I don't have any gripe. I think what we need right now, going into the second half of the season, some matchups. I don't think I ever recall a Division I schedule, Nick, where there were so many great matchups that was still left. Matter of fact, I think the majority of them are yet to come. And I think that's hard to make judgments because you haven't seen that. I mean, when you have Timberlane and Exeter head-to-head, there you go. I was really surprised that Wyndham wasn't on last week. To me, they're a top 10 team for sure. But they're back in it now, and that's great. Because I think Jack Byrne's got a solid team there with some guys that can play with the top brass of the league, and I think they've earned that. One other thing I'll call note to: Pinkerton belongs there. I said after the Londonderry game, don't get too wound up, folks. Pinkerton's going to be just fine. That defense that they showed against Londonderry, I thought, the core defense, I thought looked excellent. How do you blank Salem? 27-0.
Right.
I know Salem's not off to a great start so far this year, Nick, but,
a shutout's a shutout, for sure.
A shutout of shutouts against the Salem Blue Devils. That they always come to play. That's a pretty good feat. So I think Pinkerton is in Bedford are those two teams that you see that we want to get a good matchup with Bedford this week. That's going to be good stuff. So the second half of the season is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, Bulldogs, Blue Hawks this weekend. And, of course, we will be in Londonderry tomorrow night. BG.
That's a big one.
And the Lancers. It sure is. All right, we'll take a break, come back, touch base with Jay Pinzano of the Seacoast Media Group. Spalding caught a loss. They were upset by Memorial. And, of course, when it kind of continuing to struggle, we know about Exeter, but we'll go around the horn, so to speak, and touch on the Seacoast teams next with Jay Pinzano of the Seacoast Media Group. You are watching FNL Gridiron right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
It's FNL Gridiron, heard every Thursday live here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. We're presented by Beals Insurance. Nick and Astis with Steve Beals, live from the Beals and Stern Studios in Bedford. Let's see, John Triciani and Jimmy Lauzon coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Coach Lauzon of the Lancers first, Coach Trish of the Cards at 6:45. Rob Sturgis of Memorial at 7 o'clock, 7:15, Jack Byrne. Let's bring him in. Jay Pinzenel, senior writer with the Seacoast Media Group, joining us here once again tonight. Jay, how are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on. Absolutely.
Let's start, Jay, I guess wherever you want. Take us through the Seacoast. What's the buzz right now following Week 5?
The buzz right now is we have three of our local teams tied for first place with Timberlane, all at 4-1. You have Dover, you have Exeter, you have Spalding, all at 4-1. If you count those out-of-state games, the best team that I've seen this year has to be BG. Last week, phenomenal quarterback, phenomenal skill guys, phenomenal defense. But the Seacoast has been fun as well. Dover has done a lot this year. Ryder Aubin has elevated himself into one of the top quarterbacks in D1, I believe. Spalding, you got to love their story coming off a winless season. They're 4-1. They are at Merrimack tomorrow night. As you said earlier, Exeter is home against Bedford, and Dover is at Central 0-4. But the big buzz here is that you have three local Seacoast teams all tied with Timberlane at 4-1 atop of D1 East, and that makes every Friday fun to cover these kids and these programs.
Yeah, if you're looking for parity, I think you found a lot across Division I, period, but specifically in the East, it seems to be shaping up to a race that's going to come down to the final game. Obviously, some folks were surprised with Exeter losing against Timberlane, and the Blue Hawks have their hands full again against Bedford. Do you still see Exeter as the front runner in the East, Jay?
They definitely have to be in the conversation. Yes, I don't know if you could call them a front runner in the East. I think Dover can play well with them. I think at the end of the day, after Week 9, I think it'll either be Dover or Exeter on top of D1 East. Spalding has a very tough schedule coming up. They have Merrimack 3-2. They have Timberlane 4-1. They have Exeter 4-1, and they have a Winnicott team that's 0-4, but 0-5, I should say. But I think they'll be strong. But I think Exeter and Dover and those guys meet in week 7, I believe. Exeter at Dover, and I would give the edge to Exeter, but not much. I was kind of surprised that they lost to Timberlane last week, but Timberlane, coming off last year's Division II state championship, has proven that they can play with the best teams in Division I. I don't think the Winnicott hangover affected Exeter at all last week, coming off a very emotional 3-0 win at Hampton the week before the Timberlane game. I think that may have had a little effect on them going into last week's game against Timberlane, but Bill Ball always has those teams playing well at the highest level. I think Timberlane is just a very, very good team, and I think they with their win last week at home against Exeter. I think they show teams around the state that Timberlane, yes, they won in Division II last year, but they're equally as good this year in Division I. They have a very strong senior class, which you saw last week in that game, and I think they're there to stay. But I think if you look at specifically the Seacoast teams, not including Timberlane, I think Exeter at the end will be the team that's on top, just edging out Dover.
What's going on with Dover this year? Unfortunately, we haven't been able to see them. You were talking about you speak very highly of them over the last 2 or 3 minutes here. What are their strengths right now? I'm looking forward to seeing them. We're trying to get them, get out to Dover because they are making some noise. And fill us in there.
Yeah,
what is
Eric
going
Cumba's
on?
done a great. Yeah. Eric Cumba, head coach, has done a great job with the Green Wave this season. Going into week 1, he didn't know if it was going to be Jackson Carroll or Ryder Aubin as the starting quarterback. 2 days before the opener at home against Winnicott, he went with Aubin, and Ryder Aubin, a junior, he came out and scored he threw a touchdown, ran for a touchdown against Winnicott in the opening game, and I believe his numbers for the season are seven passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns. He likes contact. He doesn't shy away from getting hit. Very tough kid. Willing to scramble, try to get some extra time on offense to find the open guy, and he scrambles. He's a good runner. They have a very stout, strong defense. They've had 2 home games, 2 shutouts. They shut out Winnicott in the opener, and they shut out after 3 weeks on the road. They shut out Portsmouth Oyster River last week 7-0. Second quarter touchdown by Aubin held true in that game. The defense is led by Josh Stanley, Bryce Carberry, Liam Gannon, Brett Davis. Just very strong on both sides of the ball, and Dover's going to give teams some problems. They have a somewhat difficult schedule coming up. They're at Central this week, but then they finish with 3 tough games against Exeter, Timberlane, and North. I think that combined record is 13-1. So I think they have a tough schedule coming up, but Eric Cumba is doing a great job over there, and I think they have the talent to be competitive and make a little noise and a run here in the upcoming Division I playoffs.
Coming out of the gate, I was pretty high on Portsmouth. Not that I'm not now, but looks to me when you go back in the scores, they're having some trouble with offense. I was impressed with their defense. They've been able to hang with some really good teams, but the offense just doesn't seem to be getting off the ground. Any insight you can give what's going on there and how they look moving forward in the future with a 7-0 loss?
Yeah, they've had 5 games now. They've had 3 different starting quarterbacks.
Right. Brady
Kilroy played quarterback last week. He learned that he was going to be the starter on Wednesday. Something happened with Aiden Thomas that prevented him from playing last week's game. And Kilroy had never played quarterback before, and he looked like a very manageable Division I high school quarterback here in New Hampshire. He threw for about 150 yards and ran for almost 75 yards, and he did well, and I just don't think they have the stability at the quarterback position right now, having 3 different quarterbacks here in 5 weeks. But Brian Pafford knows what he's doing over there, and he always does a great job with the Clippers. And the one thing you know about his teams is his teams will always be competitive and give themselves a chance to win a game. And they're 2-3, but they've been in 2 of those 3 losses. I think the only game that they lost that they weren't in was that opener at Exeter when the Blue Hawks ran back the opening kickoff for a touchdown. But Portsmouth is 2-3. They should be able to sneak into one of the 13 spots here in the tournament, and they just got to figure out. I think they just have to stabilize that quarterback position, and once they do that and get kids playing in their natural positions, they'll be fine.
Before I go, the Spalding game against Memorial sounds like it was a barn burner right to the end. You can't take Memorial lightly. They lost 2 games in overtime. and they came back and nipped Spalding by 1 point, broke that 5-0 record or 4-0 record.
Yeah.
What did you see that game? Any insight? What happened in that game, and how do you think Spalding looks? Coming out of that loss, moving forward.
Yeah, Spalding is the lone Seacoast team I have not seen this year, but
Okay.
but they lost by 1 point, and they were forced to go for 2-point conversions every time because their kicker was injured the game before. So that forced them to go for the 2 points every time. And Emmett Colby ran for 177 yards and a couple touchdowns. And they have a sophomore running back there, Seth Cortina, who's done well in his first year of varsity football. And Kevin Hebert is doing a great job over there at Spalding, coming off a 0-9 season last year. They have the kids believing that they can not only be in every game but win every game. And they have a tough schedule coming up. Like I said before, they have Merrimack, they have Timberlane, and then Exeter, and then they end the season at home against Winnicott. And just one thing on the Warriors here, they are 0-5, but it's kind of it's kind of not disappointing, but they have arguably one of the best players in the state in Jake Fredericks, a two-way lineman. He's having a phenomenal year.
A one-man gang.
Well, they have more, but they were so talented last year that a lot of this year's seniors didn't get much playing time last year because they were behind such a talented class. So they are 0-5 right now. But I talked to Ryan Francoeur yesterday. His plan is still hopefully make the playoffs. It's a difficult path to get there, but I think he believes 3 wins could get him in the playoffs. And they have Pinkerton Friday, which is going to be a tough test. Then they have Londonderry in a rematch of last year's championship game. And then they finish off the season with Memorial and Spalding. So the path is difficult for Winnicott, but they've been playing well. And if they play defense like they did against Exeter in that 3-0 loss, they could steal a win tomorrow night, and they could put themselves in a position to maybe get one of those final spots. Who
Sneak
knows?
in, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
Well, Nick,
but the East has been very fun to cover this year. A lot of great kids, a lot of great coaches, and the Spalding program coming back has been fun to see this year as well.
I know why you get Jay Pinsino on the air. I appreciate that. It's just fantastic. I feel caught up. There's so much going on right now. It's hard to manage. Thank you, Jay. That was very illuminating, to say the least. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jay,
always.
where are you at this weekend?
I am following the Warriors. I will be at home against Pinkerton. Pinkerton's a tough test, and we'll see what Winnicott can do, and we'll be at that one, and then we'll also be at the Portsmouth game and the Exeter Bedford game as well. But I will personally be at the Winnicott Pinkerton game.
Well, enjoy yourself, and as Steve said, we appreciate you coming on tonight for sure. We'll talk down the road.
Alrighty, sir. Thank you always for having me on. I'm much appreciated.
Thank you. And again, Jay Pinsino. Really the top dog at this point over there at the Seacoast Media
Information
Group.
overload.
Yeah, around the world in in 30 seconds. Obviously said a few things there that jump out. To me, when I asked him the question about who's the front runner, Timberlane, of course, I think is in the driver's seat. And if they go 4-0, which would include a win in Week 8 over Dover, then they'd have tiebreakers really across the board in the conference. So I guess technically you got to say that it's Timberlane. Your thoughts, I guess, on D1 East?
It's just great to see that Dover is playing as well, and that the internal stuff going on with Dover is as strong as it is. You hear it right from Jay. He was very upfront about that. Coach Comber and crew have got it going on there. Love to be able to get to see it an upcoming Dover game. There's just so many good matchups. It's game to game, week to week. But I think that I can't imagine how you win 3 games and get in the playoffs
before, because they're on 5. Talking about Winnicott?
Yeah.
Winnicott 0-5. They got 4 games left.
Right.
So they have
And
to
one
run
of
the
them's
table.
Londonderry.
They have to run the table and keep their fingers crossed.
But nothing against Ryan Francoeur. You better not think that you're just going to walk in and beat Winnicott.
No.
They are building. You can see going toe-to-toe 3-0 right down to the wire with Exeter speaks volumes.
Yep.
And Ryan's he knows what he wants to do on offense. That they're don't go in thinking it's going to be an easy one because he'll mess you up if you do.
Yeah, they seem to be getting better by the week.
They do.
The 31-8 loss to BG over the weekend notwithstanding. Speaking of BG, they're in action right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire, tomorrow night against defending Division I champion Londonderry. It's a matchup between the 2 top teams in the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll. Undefeated Cardinals on one side. Londonderry still hasn't lost an in-state game since week 7 of last season.
Yep.
Obviously, all eyes will be on Lancer Park tomorrow night, and you and I will have perhaps the best seat in the house. We get going at 6:45.
That place will be rocking.
Kickoff comes your way at 7. Jimmy Lauzon will be on the home sideline. He'll be on this channel with us next. You're watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit MGSportsFundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Welcome back inside the Beals Insurance Studios here in Bedford. You're watching FNL Gridiron on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Nick Anastas with Steve Beals from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. Our home every Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern. You want to watch it live? If not, don't panic. All the shows in their entirety are up on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Of course, we're on the social media channels as well, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at FNLNH Media. In about 10 or 15 minutes, John Triciani Jr. will join us live. The BG head coach has the Cardinals, of course, 5-0, heading into tomorrow night's showdown against Londonderry. Hour number 2, Memorials coach Rob Sturgis joins us at 7. Wyndham head man Jack Byrne at 7:15. Right now, live from Londonderry, Jimmy Lauzon, now in his 9th season as head coach of the Londonderry Lancers, back for the second time with us in the last 3 weeks. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
We appreciate it each and every time, Coach. Last time we talked 2 weeks ago, you guys were gearing up for a rivalry game against Pinkerton, and that, of course, was a game that ended up going your way in big fashion. A big 20-plus point victory, and that, of course, sets the stage for a 48-6 win over Manchester Central. How well is your team playing right now at about the midway point here in the regular season? Are they meeting your expectations?
In a lot of aspects, they are. They're definitely making improvements. I think that's really where you want to be right now. Heading into week 6 is starting to fix some of the mistakes that you make early on in the season, and they're doing that. They're improving. We certainly don't want to peak right now. Don't want to play our best football quite yet, unless we can sustain that. But, we anticipate there'll be some mistakes, and we just continue to try to improve on that going forward. So, but right now, they're playing well and in a lot of ways, and hopefully we'll continue with that.
Coach, do you and your staff set in-season benchmarks in terms of goals, short-term, medium-term goals for these guys? And if so, what's the success rate in regards to those week in and week out milestones, so to speak?
Yeah, I think if you get caught up sometimes with those benchmarks and long-term goals, you lose sight on just, kind of just winning the day and just, getting a little bit better each day. And if you can do that, those long-term goals and those benchmarks will be met for sure. So that's been the message to the team, because it's easy to get caught up and say, hey, this is our goal this year, but what is it that's going to get you there? What are the little things that we're going to do each and every day? How we go about practice? How we're going to structure practice? What are you going to do in your spare time, your extra time to get better? And then you just start knocking down some of those goals along the way when you have the right players and they have that right mindset.
Coach, of course, the big topic of conversation last time we spoke was the injury to your all-state defensive lineman, Ty Miles. You go out and you hold Pinkerton, your defense does, to just 6 points, and then you hold Central to just 6 points. It doesn't seem like his loss has hurt your team maybe as much as people had initially thought. Is that a fair statement?
No. I think, as I mentioned the last time I was on here, we just felt like we were in a good place on the defensive line. We were playing 6 to 7 guys in the first couple of games, which obviously that experience paid off. And, that's our belief. If we've got varsity level guys at whatever position, we'll play multiple guys at that spot. It gets more people involved in the game, gets more people, out there and getting experience and getting better, giving teams harder time to prepare for. And then when you get injuries, they're more ready to go. So it just so happened we happen to have a pretty good amount of defensive linemen that were ready to go. And but Ty's, his strength and his size is really tough to replace. We're doing it by committee right now. Obviously hurts our depth. But the other two guys, Michael Sampson and Ryan Pemberton, have done a great job stepping up, and so has everybody that's played in his spot. Aiden Espinal is the guy that's taken the starting spot now, and he's done a great job. But it's tough to replace the Ty Miles.
Yeah, Ty just demands resources. I mean, he's one of those guys that you have to, as the when you coach against him, you have to apply more resources to him on both sides of the ball, which just opens up opportunities. You don't, even when you don't hear Ty Miles on the megaphone every play, it's because he's tying up 2 or 3 guys, and I mean everything else works. I've watched you do it, and it's he's fantastic. Jim, everything is people talk about assignment football and situation football. One of the things I noticed in that Pinkerton game was opportunity football and field position. And not that the assignment football wasn't there. You guys seem to have that down. It's always something you got to work on every week, I know. But talk to us about what these guys don't play with any hyphens. They're playing really and truly 48 minutes of football from start to finish. Is it in the practice? Are you doing a lot of live stuff in practice? What is it you're doing to get these guys playing at that level? Because I see a lot of good football teams out there, but you guys just don't stop. Opportunities, are you special teams? I mean, these guys just don't seem to just want to go for offense and defense. I know there's a question at the end of this, but I'm perplexed of how, within a limited time in high school football that you provided, you get them doing that to this level.
Yeah, I mean, from an effort standpoint and them never stopping, I would say, it comes down to a few different things. I mean, when you work hard enough at something, you're less likely to take your foot off the gas, and they work really hard. They work, extremely hard in the summertime to get into that position. I know people think, oh, well, we're going to take it easy on the summer. And listen, we let our kids be kids in the summertime, but we have to catch up to certain teams, over the last few years. And in order to do that, we've got to outwork teams. And it's just high school football now. Kids want to get better, and they like to put in the work. This group definitely does. So putting in the work. And then the other thing is, competition creates a lot of that. If there's competition at positions, the guys are never gonna stop. They're gonna be extra focused on their assignments, and because they don't want to lose that opportunity of being on the football field. And we've got guys that are right behind them that want that chance. Like I said, we're playing multiple guys at certain spots, and if you're not going to play to a certain level, then we won't put you out there the following week. Like I said, we want to see guys play, but it can't be detrimental to the execution on the field. So just a lot of guys really focused, and it also was, the tone was set by the guys over the last few years of how they go about prepping for a week, and it's just a culture right now the guys take very seriously.
The IQ seems to be very high with this group. They understand what an opportunity is out there, and they seem to do whatever is necessary, whether it's in all 3 phases of the game, to take advantage if someone has a weak spot or someone makes a mistake. And I thought the game against Pinkerton, you guys did a fantastic job taking advantage of offensive mistakes that Pinkerton made, and you were able to do it and get a lot of short fields when you put your offense on the field. But the question I had was Drew Heenan. When you look at this guy, I don't know what he is. Is he 5'8", 5'8.5"? Just that play that he hit Coleman down in the end zone where he was waving him on. That offensive line, I counted, gave him 7.5 to 8 seconds to be able to work around the pocket and to be able to get some good vision downfield. So that offensive line, they're getting it done for you.
Yeah, no, they're doing a good job. Starts with their coaching, and the offensive line coach does a great job. Very focused. We seem to be on the same page each and every week, and what we're shooting for. Just back to obviously to your point with the short fields. Some nights it goes that way, and some nights it doesn't. And we were fortunate that night that we did have some short fields, and we were able to win that takeaway battle with them, but it doesn't always go that way. I know that all too well with Pinkerton, and so we were fortunate that night. And the throw to Coleman, I think he might have stepped out of bounds before that, and so his guy had kind of laid off him, and Drew just sends him to the end zone, which was a great thing to see. But it was good accuracy, great catch too.
Fun thing to watch.
Yeah, but offensive line has been great, and
Yep.
Drew's does a great job of. They just they're on the same page. Drew's a big, he wants to check us into the right situation, and
does.
I think the O-line is good with that. And in that situation right there, they only rushed 3, and we had 5 protecting on them. But one thing that I love about Drew is he stands right in there. He's probably better against the blitz in a lot of ways, and so he'll stay right in there. I think he took some big hits in that game that night, and so you either kind of sit back and let us protect, or you're going to send pressure on him and make him take those hits. But he delivers usually pretty good. So
I wanted to ask you about Matt Sanasuazo. How do you defend a guy? Maybe Nick can throw that in. I don't. But good luck this week. This is going to be a barn burner. All of us in the state are looking forward to watching this matchup. We're finally getting some of those key matchups happen. Good luck, and Londonderry is going to be rocking on Friday night.
Yeah,
so.
Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck for sure containing Sanasuazo.
Yeah.
I think.
How do you do that?
Yeah, I kind of want to hear what you have to say to that before I let you go. I know we're already over time, but in all seriousness, what are some things that have to go right tomorrow night against the Cardinals?
They're a really good team. They're good at just about every spot. He's an excellent player. My team heard from me all off season about how good they were going to be, and so they're a good team. They do a lot of things really well, and we'll try to find some things to take advantage of. But it should be definitely a good matchup. They've got a lot of experience. I think 9 out of the 11 guys really came back with experience for them, and so that'll bode well for them all year. Should be a tough matchup. Good coaching staff. It's just, it'll be tough. And you know what? I read the articles this week. If you guys want to name somebody else the Power Bowl #1, or I'm fine with it. Trust me. I could use some bulletin board material anyway, so it's perfectly fine if you want to give PG that spot. But we're not going to give it up easily. But. Yeah, that's all that stuff is all good and well for the state for sure. But
it's exciting. It's exciting that people have differences of opinion, and we respect those. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By the way, Nick,
Anything
he Belichicked us again.
That's all right.
Yeah, he Belichicked us again.
No,
That's
perfect.
That's two interviews, 2 Belichicks.
You guys will see. I mean,
On to Cincinnati, right?
Very good team. That's right.
Coach,
Good to see you, Coach.
Best of luck tomorrow night. Thanks for coming on.
We'll see you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, that's Jimmy Lauzon.
Nice of him to come on.
Always nice to join us, saying some complimentary things about his counterpart,
He should.
Coach Triciani Jr. of the BG Cardinals, who joins us right now. Let's welcome him in here without the break. There he is. Coach, good evening. How you doing? And thanks for coming on.
Good evening. I'm surviving. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
We appreciate it. I'd imagine that your team has been looking forward to this one for a long time. Obviously, you take it week to week, game by game. First 5 on the schedule are behind you, all victories. Your team's still unbeaten as we head into week 6. What will tomorrow night's game mean for the program, win or lose, going up against the defending state champs at their place?
Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts there that I have. I'll try to share some of them with you. Certainly when the schedule came out, you look at it, you try to have an idea of how the season might start. We looked at that schedule as a group, and we're really hoping that we'd be in this position, 5-0, going back to Lancer Park for the second year. Certainly, I think if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I don't think it's a secret to anybody that not only, is Londonderry the better, the best team in New Hampshire right now, they might be the best football program. So it's a great, barometer for us, great gauge to see where we're at. Certainly a lot of kids, I think, talked about it in the summer and the off season. I think it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to be about it. So, we'll see what happens. At the same time, it's one game in the middle of the year. I think going back to our experiences last year, we beat Salem in the regular season and then got beat by them in the playoffs. Londonderry lost to Salem at the end of the regular season and then beat them in the playoffs. So, I don't think one game or one matchup determines your season, but it's certainly going to be a good test for the kids and for myself. And, we're excited to see what happens.
How do you walk that fine line between getting your team ready to play and maybe putting too much pressure on them. How do you handle that as a staff going into a big game like this?
Yeah, I'm going to say I think you put as much pressure on the kids as possible and see what they have. You know, I'm not going to hold anything back. You know, we're going to really try to get as much out of them as possible. And then at the same time, when the game's over, we're going to use it as a teaching tool. There's going to be a lot of lessons to take from it for everybody. So you just, no matter what, kind of regroup, and then it's on to the next week. So I don't think it determines the season, but, you know, we want to win. We want to compete. You know, and then is this BG team going to be any different than the teams of, you know, of recent memory? You know, is it a good team? Is it a great team? Is it an okay team? How do you react when you finally face a little bit of adversity? You know, I haven't been overly impressed with the teams that I've coached at times when, you know, their back's been up against the wall. So if this team's going to be different, they're going to have to react different. And, you know, again, great test. Can't wait to see what happens.
Do you tailor anything differently based on the opponent, based on Londonderry this week, or is it business as usual from a game plan perspective where you want to make them adjust to what you're doing?
Yeah, I think ultimately you got to be able to line up. You got to be able to get off blocks. You got to be able to tackle on defense. And offensively, you got to be able to win up front. We certainly scout every team. I was able to go see Londonderry live last week against Central. You know, there's definitely a lot of speed. They're very physical. I don't necessarily view them as having a weakness. You know, I think when I walked out of that game, I was like, oh boy, you know, they are exactly kind of what you would be concerned that they would be. You know, and it obviously looks a little different live than it does on film. So we're going to try to figure out, you know, how they line up. Are there some spots we might be able to have some success attacking them? You know, and then it's really just going to be up to the kids. You got to be as physical as possible and rise to the challenge.
John, I know both you and Jimmy are big film guys. You study film a lot. It's very important. Going into this game, I think you just said it perfectly, that this is a midseason game. It's a big midseason game, but it is a midseason game. It's your first matchup. Would you rather go out of a Londonderry game going up against them and having film, or and actually them having film of you, or would you rather wait till a later date, if you will, and not give up your film hand in exchange for not having direct matchups with them? You understand what I'm saying? Do you want this matchup on film to study, or would you rather not give them you guys?
Yeah, it's tough. I think,
you know what I mean?
Jimmy's got quite a reputation in regards to how he watches film continuously and breaks everything down and doesn't leave any stone unturned. You know, so as a coach, you know, it's quite a challenge. You know, you can never be too prepared. You're always worried about, you know, kind of losing a chess match, or is there something you might miss on film? You know, as far as the film breakdown goes, you know, we're just going to try to control what we can control. We realize that they're going to make adjustments. They're probably going to show us a few plays or formations or motions that we haven't seen. You know, you got to adjust on the fly. At the same time, you know, we're a different team than we were week 1. We're a different team, I think, than we were last week. And we're going to be a different team at week 8, 9, or, you know, if we're fortunate enough to get into playoffs. So it's always kind of just working with what you have. Each week's different. We know if we see them later on down the line, you know, it'll be a different matchup. So, you know, I can't really be overly concerned with what's on film or what's not on film. We just take it week by week. But, you know, I have a lot of respect for Coach Lauzon and everything that he does with his program.
What a matchup. You got two quarterbacks who, if you look at them, they look very different, but their attitude about the game is very similar. They enjoy and welcome a hit. They want to deliver it. Matt Sanasuazo in that Timberlane game, I watched it twice. Was so impressive at the hard work. He almost came back and almost was able to pull it off there at the end. That was a tremendous second half of football that I saw Matt play on the offensive side of the ball as well as defensive side of the ball. When you look at Drew Heenan, though, what are the things you got to prepare for him? I mean, he's you kind of look at him and you say, geez, he's stoppable, but then all of a sudden he's busting through the line. He's getting those 6- and 7-yard runs that just put him in position for Coach Lauzon to be able to call plays. How do you stop this guy?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, and I think the bigger piece there is the coach, you know, as far as their relationship with each other. I think it showed a lot last year when the Londonderry quarterback went down and Drew stepped in and they didn't miss a beat. So their relationship, how they work together, the trust that they have, I think Jimmy does a great job putting the kid in a position to succeed. And then Drew seems really smart. He seems like he's a great distributor of the football. Similar to our quarterback, what I love about those guys is they're tough. You see Drew run with the ball. He's always going forward. I think he plays with a lot of energy. I think that's something, too, that he probably feeds off of with the coach. Jimmy always has a lot of energy. So they're just tough kids, And again, like I've said countless times about our quarterback is, the best compliment a coach can give is that the kid's tough, regardless of the position he plays. So, a lot of respect to those guys over there, and certainly their quarterback's no exception. I think he's got as much toughness as anybody on their team.
Well, I can tell you, as a people going to call the game on tomorrow night, I've been waiting. We've had this matchup for 3 or 4 weeks, so it is very exciting to us. When you see the two teams up on the board there, it's eye candy. You just can't wait to get started. I can see this game actually, Coach, coming down to who wins the special teams battle, because both of you guys are so technically sound on both sides of the conventional element of football. I can see special teams being a big factor here, and I think depth could be a factor as well. There's so many good guys you can talk about on your team. Garachi, he's so impressive. The attitude and how he inspires others. So, John, I just can't wait, and I'm so glad and appreciate the work that you guys do to give us this venue to go cover, because we know it's going to be a well-coached game, and the attitude of these guys is just unbelievable. Both of your football teams, I know you always challenge them, but they play 48 minutes most of the time as well, and that's a lot to ask of a high school group. So I can't wait to be there. Give us a wave. Told Jimmy the same. It's going to be a battle royal, and it's hard to go in tomorrow night thinking that this is just another mid-season game, because to the spectator, it's not. No. It's just good football. So somebody's going to come out on top.
Yep, somebody's going to come out on top, and I think we're going to see a lot of things that we don't expect. So it'll be fun.
Well, you've been known to hand a little of those out yourself, so it'll be good.
Coach, we appreciate the time tonight. Good luck tomorrow night. And thanks again for coming on.
Appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you, and hopefully it's a good night.
All right. Coach, thank you. That again, John Triciani Jr., the head coach
couple of class
of the
acts.
Bishop Girton Cardinals.
Yep.
And again, a reminder, tomorrow night we're on the air at 6:45 in advance of that 7 o'clock kick. Bishop Girton at Londonderry, number 1 and number 2 in the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll.
Well, somebody's, the noise that you hear about the whole power poll is an extremely healthy thing. People have opinions, and they have passion about their football teams, and they have passion about the players, the coaches, as parents. I just think it's so healthy to see that kind of energy around these kids, and the kids know that. And that's going to build this game up. These are two well-coached, very hard-nosed football teams that are highly talented and very, very technically sound. And their skill players are fun to watch, and their trenches are fun to watch. It's all good stuff. Lancer Park is a really fun place to go see a game. The energy there is just fantastic. I was really excited about the Mac Plaque game, but this one to me has been on the board, Nick, for a long, long time.
Yeah, we saw, obviously, a lot of energy at Lancer Park 2 weeks ago for that Mac Plaque game, the battle between the Lancers and the Astros, and I'd expect a very similar atmosphere tomorrow night. All right, when we come back, hour number 2, we take a look ahead at our Saturday matchup between Manchester Memorial and Wyndham. Coming up, Rob Sturgis on the other side. Crusaders fresh off an upset win over Spalding. You are watching FNL Gridiron right here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471 888-858-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Hour number 2 here of FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance. Nick and Astis with Steve Beals every Thursday night at 6, live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. We appreciate Jay Pinsedall coming on from the Seacoast Media Group, hitting a lot of bases, so to speak, checking off boxes on the Seacoast. Jimmy Lauzon of Londonderry and John Triciani Jr. of Bishop Girton. We appreciate them coming on for previewing our broadcast tomorrow night, which gets underway at 6:45 from Lancer Park. Number 1, Londonderry. Number 2, Bishop Girton. Should be a good one in advance of that 7 o'clock kick. Jack Byrne coming up. Wyndham in the power poll at number 10. Some good stuff going on there. Jaguars are 3-2. And joining us now is Manchester Memorial head coach Rob Sturgis. Crusaders, after 2 losses in overtime, get themselves a 1-point win over previously undefeated Spalding. Coach, how are you tonight? Thanks for coming back on the show. We appreciate it.
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Obviously, a bit of a milestone for your group. You get that first win. You knock off a previously unbeaten Spalding team by a point. And, of course, that 1-point victory comes on the heels of 2 back-to-back overtime defeats. How did you keep that group's energy up? How did you keep their confidence up after two brutal overtime defeats in weeks number 3 and 4?
It's kind of funny. Confidence is not something this team lacks. They've had a lot of confidence ever since the Jamboree game when we played Bedford, and we did a fairly decent job there, and they really thought highly of themselves going into that Timberlane game. That was pretty humbling experience coming again, first game of the year, playing the D2 champs and everything like that. And then just getting that little spark to see that they can compete with those teams and they can be there in the end if they just play things smart, play things the right way, and they match teams' physicality throughout a game. And they just got hungrier as those overtime losses kept going, just being that close. And when you're a team like us that's struggled for a lot of years, when you're that close, you don't kind of go down. You really get hungrier and hungrier to try and get that win. So this team just kept getting more confident as they kept playing, and we were able to finally pull one out against Raleigh.
Yeah. Well, I remember 2 years ago your team made some noise late in the season. There was a big game at your place that we covered in the snow against Bedford, and then a lot of that team coming back last year in 2021, but your season kind of got derailed early due to the COVID-19 situation. A couple of games were canceled, and that was a challenge in its own right, of course. And then this group comes back this year, and as we mentioned, the two close losses, and now the victory. Obviously, it seems like the momentum is heading in the right direction with the program top to bottom. How were you able to revive the program, get a number of kids to come out and play at really all three levels? How was that, in your mind, done over the last 3 or 4 years?
Honestly, it was getting kids to realize that it's a game and it's fun and it's here to teach you a lot of lessons. You're not always going to get the results, but it's something that if you collectively come together as a group, you make goals, you work your butts off to achieve those goals, you develop these bonds and these relationships. And as kids started seeing that, and they started seeing that, yeah, we weren't getting wins, especially last year when COVID hit and everything, but they just saw that the more they worked and the harder they worked, the closer the games got, the more competitive the games were. And just repeatedly seeing that result kind of gave them that drive to stay with it, get more of their friends to come out and play. I mean, this year we have about 10 new players that are juniors and seniors that had never played football before. Then obviously it helps now that COVID's quote unquote gone. The Pee Wee leagues are getting their numbers back up, so we're able to get a lot more kids in the freshman group. I mean, I've got about 30 plus freshmen right now that they're all playing a JV schedule right now. So we don't play freshman games. So yeah, they're taking their lumps JV opponents, but we have freshmen that are competing against sophomores and juniors, so they're more ready to play varsity football early in their 4 years of high school football. So, I mean, that speaks to having kids like Chase Burris, who is a sophomore as a running back for us.
Tearing it up.
We have two freshman offensive linemen that split time for us. So we have a lot of kids that probably shouldn't be playing varsity football if we were a program that had 100 to 150 kids. But they're getting thrown into the fire, and they're ready to play meet the physicality at this level.
Coach, first of all, congratulations on this season. 2 overtime losses is not an easy to bear. I believe this is Dave Haley, very good writer from the New Hampshire Sports Page. I believe was an interview, and if I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but I'm going to give him the credit that well deserved here. I want to read you something, and then I'd like your thoughts. It's only a quick second here. It says here, last year I thought we rode the momentum wave too much, said Coach Sturgis. When things went well, we got a little too high. When they went wrong, we tended to hang our heads. This group has been good about getting on to the next play. Wow, as a former coach, that means a lot to me. That's a mouthful right there. Give the Rob Sturgis view. Why did you say that, and what do you mean by that? I think I know.
Yeah, I mean, last year if we made a big play, we always needed a spark, some sort of explosive play, or for a team to make a huge mistake for us to start getting into a rhythm and start getting things going. And if we gave up that big play, the heads would hang. Here we go again. It's just the same thing over and over. And this year, again, they have so much confidence in their ability because they've put in so much work together as a team that they can make a mistake and they all look at each other and say, oh, well, next play, we move on. It's just on to the next thing. And when you face so much adversity early on in the season with 2 overtime losses, it really is what it is. I mean, the Portsmouth game, we went down. We ended up scoring with a minute left. If we make the PAT, we probably win the game. We missed it. They got the ball back. The first play after.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it down to the 40-yard line, and we were able to make a stop. So it's not always going to be perfect, but getting them to understand that it's just one play out of 120 on average. I mean, at the end of the day, if you do your job on 110 out of 120 plays, you're probably going to come out on the right side of things.
One of the things that they changed this year is 13 teams will make the playoffs, Rob. It would seem to me as though that takes I don't want to say take pressure off, but provides an opportunity for you guys to continue to getting better every week. And if you lose a couple games, it's how you finish. If you can win, 4 games, let's just say, you're probably going to get in, and you could be playing at the highest level you have all season. I assume that you like that, given the fact 2 overtime losses are tough, right? Talk to us about that change and how you think that's impacting your players on the field with still believing that we can do this and we know we're playing well.
I honestly think that the change is part of the reason why we're getting better week by week. Because like we said, like if we had 2 overtime losses last year and we knew that only 2-3 teams are going to get in from our side of the bracket, then
right.
It's hard to get them to bounce back and realize, hey, we have a big week 4 game coming up. And especially we didn't play anyone in our bye week, so we're really playing a game behind here. And now this year, we talked about it with our kids. We said it's a point scale. You got to win games against good teams in order to make the playoffs. And they understand that right now we control our destiny. If we go out there, play the best of our ability, and end up being on the right side of the scoreboard in the rest of our games, we're in. Like, we're not going to be looking out with 5 wins. So they're trying to take it day by day, but it definitely helps keep these kids going toward the end of the season. Even if we falter this weekend against Wyndham, we still have a chance. If we can keep going out there being competitive, we don't necessarily control our own destiny anymore, but if some things fall the way they might, we could be playing meaningful games all the way up until Halloween. And
Rob, I want to congratulate. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hasn't happened.
Absolutely. I want to congratulate you, Rob, on what you're doing. Nick and I could see that a couple years ago. I saw it in the Goffstown game. I believe it was last year. In the playoff game. Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, we went to that game, and right in the middle of COVID and so on and so forth. And there was a battle that was going on in the psyche of the team where they started giving up, but then all of a sudden they came back and they kept on. You could see there was a fight in these young guys that may not have been quite to that level before. So I salute what you're doing, and New Hampshire football is better when Memorial football is going strong. So we can't wait to go to the Wyndham game. It's a great place to go view a game. We're excited about what you guys are doing and Memorial football moving ahead like that. And we're looking forward to a good game on Saturday, and we're proud to cover it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Coach, thanks for coming on. Good luck Saturday for sure. Yeah. And we definitely appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, before I go, thank you so much for everything you guys do for the state of New Hampshire football. I mean, you guys have made this an amazing experience for our kids. They really appreciate all the hard work you guys put in on a weekly basis to just get them some recognition and notice. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, they earn it.
We appreciate it.
They earn it.
We appreciate those kind words.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank
you.
And
again, Rob Sturgis, head coach at Manchester Memorial. Seems like a player's coach. Oh. One thing that's undeniable, he has basically rebuilt that program, got the numbers from top to bottom back up where they should be, and it's good to see some success come along with that.
Yeah, Manchester needs football, just like the state of New Hampshire needs Manchester football to be strong. The legacy and the history of those three programs goes way, way, way back. And Rob, as you said, you can, if you listen to him, you can see, that attitude that's what the kids are hearing.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's about what they'll do in a situation 20 years down the road after they graduated, and they got a tough situation, how they respond to that, and that's what football is all about. That's why football has to stay, strong in the Northeast, because it builds character, and these young men need it.
Yeah.
And Rob gets that, and you could see he knows what hanging the head means, Nick. He understands that, and he understands that you can't. You've got to overcome it, and his spirit you can see working within those kids and how they're beginning to play.
Perfect match.
Perfect match.
For sure.
Perfect match.
All right.
Congratulations, Rob.
On the other side, our final guest, Jack Byrne. He's got Wyndham cooking. 3-2. They bust into the top 10 power poll ranking, and Coach Byrne is obviously a big reason why at the head of that program. Coach, on the other side, you are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Final segment here of FNL Gridiron. Nick Anastas, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios. in Bedford. We're live every Thursday night at 6 o'clock on Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. Of course, we're on YouTube at FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube at FNLNH Media. If you missed any part of the show, our interviews with Seacoast Media Group writer Jay Pinzanold, Londonderry head coach Jimmy Lauzon, Cardinal head coach John Triciani Jr., or Rob Sturgis of Memorial, don't worry, the show is up on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Speaking of the channel, we'll be back tomorrow night for some live, hard-hitting play-by-play. It's Bishop Girton and Londonderry, the top two teams in the state, colliding at Lancer Park, a 7 o'clock Eastern Time kick. Our coverage begins at 6:45. Then on Saturday, 2 o'clock, we're at Wyndham, one of Steve's favorite places to take
Love
in
going
a
to
game.
Wyndham. Yep.
Jaguars hosting Manchester Memorial Crusaders, looking to slay another dragon. Live at 2 o'clock. Our coverage on Saturday begins at 1:45. All right, speaking of dragons, how about Jaguars? Let's bring in the head coach of Wyndham, Jack Burns, returning to the show. Coach Byrne.
Smiling again.
Yeah,
Good evening,
you
sir.
guys
How
know
are
me,
you?
man. I'm doing great. You always you let me in with a pretty good joke. I like it.
We appreciate you coming on. Your team wasn't joking around this weekend. 52-0 over Alvern. Third win of the season, another blowout under your belt. It seems like, Coach, not only so far so good through 5 weeks, but this team is really starting to generate some chatter statewide, as evidenced by the voters in the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll placing your team in the top 10. What's been the key so far in your mind through 5 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like what you were saying with the big blowout is always nice. It's nice to win by a lot, but really it's from top to bottom in this program, from how our seniors are treating our younger guys, all the way down to JV and freshman teams taking pride in what they're doing. I just coached a freshman game today, and the freshmen worked their butts off against Nashua North, and it's just the buzz is catching on, and that's really what it's all about. I think there's a lot of things that you just can't measure, and when you have good kids sticking together and good coaches working hard to help them, that's kind of been our key.
You seeing the culture, I don't know if created in real time is the proper term, or elevated, perhaps. I mean, what's been the difference? Because it seems like since the end of last year, and we covered this before, you guys were involved in a lot of close losses a year ago. A lot of returnees from that group, confidence seemingly building by the week. I mean, is there a culture now growing, I guess I'll use the phrase, in real time down there at Wyndham?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the guys that were seniors last year, I mean, they had to take all those tough losses, and just seeing the way they handled those, and still, really stuck by our younger guys, and our younger guys had a really good, set of people to look up to when it didn't go well. And I think when you get that, it can't be much worse than that, and you just, you kind of start buckling down, and you keep taking that experience and use it to make you better. And we've been able to come out on the right end of some of those victories lately.
Anybody, Coach, who has caught your eye during the season, maybe a guy who's risen up the depth chart or has overperformed compared to your expectations? Is there a player that kind of fits that mold as a pleasant surprise midway through the season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys for that. I think, Josh Sweeney coming in at quarterback has just shown such improvement as far as athleticism and leadership. I mean, he's the real deal, and it's easy to point out the quarterback, but it's a different story with him. I mean, it's such a cool thing to watch, such a blue collar, fullback type attitude from the quarterback position. And so really proud of him. I mean, defensive side of the ball, Aiden Goss has been playing amazing. I mean, I knew he'd have a good season as long as he, stayed healthy and everything. And he's done way more than that for us. I mean, I think it takes over a game, and you start saying, how do you not game plan for a kid like that? And then, a kid like Brian Damaris being able to be a runner and a receiver and a safety for us has really helped. So those three individually, but honestly, if I had to give out one thing, it'd really be our offensive and defensive line. And I know that's kind of like where people deflect the credit, but really we try to play with as many one-way players as we can, And we've had some kids step in that, maybe last year wouldn't have been, the go-to guys. And they are absolutely reliable and tough as nails. And they make everything happen for us.
Coach, congratulations on things are really starting to gel. I mean, it's the guys there, the speed that you have on that football team, and it's very obvious as far as the leadership is concerned. I think that Sweeney makes great decisions too. I like the decisions he makes on the field, and a lot of times it's a decision he makes not to throw the ball or to tuck it and not make a mistake because he knows he's got an offense that can come back on 2nd down and 10 again and start all over again. So I've seen that maturity in him develop over the years, and so something's going good there. So congratulations on that. I also want to mention the blackout game. How well attended was that? I understand it's for a tremendous cause. And we wish you'd make that Saturday night or the next week so we could cover both. But we've been covering the MacPlac game for year after year. So just throwing that out there because we had some parents call us up and say, would you come down here and cover that? And I say, well, if it wasn't that night, yes. But anyway, any possibility maybe? I don't know.
That's a good call. No, seriously, I'm open for all that stuff. Let's talk about it. I'm in. If we get you guys there, that'd be awesome.
So tell us about that terrific night, Jack. Yeah. I mean, what is the blackout all about for those people in the region that may not know about it?
Yeah, so blackout cancer, our foundation that was started in Windham, it's about 11 years ago now.
Yep.
It's for the benefit of pediatric cancer research and hospitals, and really focusing on families that have had a loss or had a child go through that treatment. And it started off really 11 years ago with like a small group that wanted to sell like wristbands, like these things. And then, it grew to selling some t-shirts and then it just took off. And it's so cool because you can see people, they just really care. It's so important to them and it's so important to the players. And I think that the cause is on everybody's mind all week. And you can just feel it in the air at the game. It's really special. And obviously it's nice to win on those nights. It's nice to have some football energy, but it's pretty clear that everyone knows that there's bigger things than football, and football is just a good way to, I guess, remind us of that. Like you were saying right before the break, I caught on. I mean, there's so much emotion to the game that you can't replicate in other sports, and I think that brings that to the forefront when you get an event like the blackout game.
How many people attended the last game?
We're hearing like 6,000. I think that might have been the total because it was windy.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was a very windy day, and the wind chill was pretty cold. So I think they said a total of 6,000 have rolled in and out throughout the night, and it was pretty packed. I mean, our stands were packed. We have new bleachers. The hill on the opposite side is always packed, and then the out in the end zone beyond to like the fried dough area. Always a big hit.
That's fantastic.
So,
Brother, that's incredible.
That's a fantastic. 6,000's no joke.
Well, I'll hand it back to Nick, but congratulations on a great season so far. We saw you guys down at the South game. Thought you guys played. That was a very, very hot day. But congratulations on what's going on so far. We're really looking forward. And obviously, I know you're not going to take Memorial too lightly because this team is on the rise, very well coached, got an organization going there. I'm sure you guys are doubling down on that one.
Yeah, Coach, what can you tell us real quick before I let you go? What are you trying to take away from Memorial on Saturday, and what are some of the keys in your mind to the game?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, first of all, like you said, I mean, they are not a team to be taken lightly at all. And 100% our players, our coaches, that's what we want. I mean, this is when the state gets better and you see tough teams that are ready to get after it every week. That's what it's all about. I mean, everyone would love to win a championship and roll through and have that undefeated season. But man, I love being in a small state with a bunch of coaches. I heard Rob talking. He's the best. I mean, I'd run through a wall for him too. And it's just cool to see teams get better and just battle it out. As far as what to take away from them, I mean, they have a mixture of like excellent X's and O's, and then when a play breaks down, that's when they can get even better. So they are very well coached. They definitely have a plan in place. They stick with it. And then when that plan doesn't work, they got kids that can make a brand new play like on the playground, and they do it like they know what they're doing.
And they're scary young. Some of their top players are sophomores and juniors, which they're going to be around.
Coming back.
Yeah,
they're a problem. They're hungry to play, and that's hats off to them. I mean, for sure. I mean, we're hoping for for our guys to be ready and to really fight. I mean, I know how proud I am of our guys and how hard they work. And it's pretty obvious Memorial's doing the same thing.
I'm really excited to see Josh tomorrow night. I want to see him on a home field. I love watching.
Saturday,
excuse me. I'm really excited to see him play at Wyndham, and with all the fan base there. Really, like I said before, really enjoyed watching him make decisions. He's a very versatile player. He can run, he can pass. But what I like about him most is the attitude. He's fearless when he plays, and he trusts his linemen. And so it's going to be a good one, and we're glad to be down there, Jack. So hang in there.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for coming on.
It'll be a tough couple nights of sleep for me. This is going to be a big one.
If any at all.
Yeah. Coach, thank you. Thank you for sure for coming on, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. See you on Saturday.
And we're up on the new press box.
That's right.
We're up on the new.
Yeah, nice. The windows now. We're ready to roll, man. We'll get whatever you need.
We're going to get a great view from there.
We appreciate it. Coach, thanks again.
Thank you.
Jack Byrne, class act.
Oh, yeah.
Beaming with energy.
Yeah.
And he's got his football team moving.
He's all positive. It's just I don't know what I'd say. The positive element of him is very Pete Carroll-esque. He's no matter what happens, he's going to find the positive swing. Let's learn from our mistakes, but just not dwell on them. And you can see he's that kind of a coach.
Right.
And that's what that's what builds character in people, and an attitude that no matter what happens, it's about tomorrow, and it's about right now, and not about yesterday. And that's kind of the coach he is.
Yeah. Good, talented group he's got.
He does.
Mentioned the Goss kid, Sweeney we know about, the quarterback. How about Tiger Ann as well?
Yep.
Physical
Runs
running back.
Heavy and hard.
He'll be back next year as well as a junior. So there's pieces, I think, on both teams in this Saturday matchup, pieces to watch. And overall, I think we're in for a good game.
I think we're in for a great weekend.
I really do.
I do too.
I think tomorrow night's going to be spectacular, and then Saturday, not a bad matinee.
Nope,
between
not at all.
Memorial and Wyndham. Final reminder, tomorrow night we get the gas out, get the pots and pans, and we begin to cook at 6:45 Eastern Time live with our pregame. Of course, the kick comes your way at the top of the hour.
I'm glad you straightened that, because Ben and I were worried we should get the gas out. I was going to say, wow, now I can see why.
It's the top two teams in the state, according to the New Hampshire Union Leader Power Poll, and they collide head-to-head in week number 6. Then on Saturday, Wyndham and Memorial, live from Wyndham High School, 2 o'clock Eastern, 1:45. Our coverage begins. Steve, your final thoughts.
Final thoughts are again. I've never had so much fun as I have watching the quarterbacks this year. There's something going on in the water in New Hampshire where all of the good coaching and the good parental raising of these young men are really showing out in the field. You can go right across the board, and the teams that are performing well have skippers on the team, that are out in the field, and then they've got great skippers on the sidelines as well. So there's a lot of good ship captains out there. Let me tell you.
Yeah, we got
do a good job.
2 excellent quarterbacks going head-to-head tomorrow night.
Bingo.
Drew Heenan, fresh off a championship. Leading Londonderry into battle against
I can't
Matt Sanasuazo.
I didn't know what I felt about the 13 teams making the playoffs, Nick, but given the fact of the short and truncated practice season where some teams it's going to take a little bit longer to get going, I'm beginning to really warm up to it, and I
think we'll be loving it.
I think we're going to be loving it, and it's going to make a whole bunch of games extremely competitive. It is tough every week figuring out where to go.
It's an extra week of football, and it keeps hope alive longer for more teams, which I think is really the main thing to take away from this new format.
And it may, if you look at it from a coaching standpoint, say, look, it may allow the teaching, rather than everybody feeling stressed out, I'm already out of the playoffs after 3 games. Relax, everybody. Let's get better. Let's fix our mistakes, and let's build this program as coaches and players. So I think I give credit to the NHIAA for doing that. It's certainly coming out looking right now like it was a good move, and I'm excited about the future.
All right. Want to thank our guests and our sponsors. Guests first, Jay Pinzenall to the Seacoast Media Group, Londonderry head coach Jimmy Lauzon, Bishop Girton head coach John Triciani Jr., Rob Sturgis from Memorial, and head coach Jack Burns with Wyndham. We appreciate chatting with those guys. And, of course, our sponsors as usual, Beals Insurance, MG Sports Fundraising, New Hampshire iPhone Repair, the New Hampshire Tomahawks, and, of course, Ghost Energy. I want to thank Ben Beals as well, the man behind the curtain, our director, for manning the ship and doing a fabulous, flawless job as usual. For my partner, executive producer Steve Beals, my name Nick Anastas, saying so long. This has been FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance.